I sure come at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. I'm not alone. I'm joined by none other than Hell Hades. Hades, welcome back. It's been too long, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing really well. Yeah, thanks for having me on again. Always a blast when we do these. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude, we just talked about the 10 most underrated epics, the definitive list of all time on your channel. I'll have a link to that video for the folks to watch after this one in the show notes below. Are you ready to do legendaries, my friend?
I am born ready for this one. Yeah, yeah. Can't wait.
All right, great. Well, you are the guest. You are the guest. You want to go ahead and kick things off with the most underrated legendary, or at least one of your 5? We're both going to alternate sharing our 5 most underrated.
Yeah. Well, let's go in the sacred order then. So sacred order first. I feel like this guy, top of the list for me, Bevaled of the Thorn.
Oh, that's a really, really, really good choice, my man.
Where is it? Where is it?
So he was a fusion, and
yes,
I don't know. I just felt like he kind of came into the game. A lot of us were a bit unsure about whether he was going to really kind of cut it as a great legendary champion. And I think when they made the changes to Hydra specifically around us being able to provoke ahead, that was when this guy really just kind of like elevated himself for me as really solid champion. He was good anyway, but really solid for that type of content. And then when you actually start to use him, you realize he can do a lot of work. Yeah, so he's got this kind of A1 where he's got a pretty high % chance to provoke, so 50% chance. When you're looking to try and keep that head of decay under wraps, you know, 50-50 is pretty damn solid. Also can provoke on a weak hit, which is, you know, basically unheard of, apart from perhaps one other champion.
I was gonna say,
I like it.
We'll be talking about her in just a moment.
Don't say that.
And then if you pair that with his A2, so his A2 3-turn cooldown, double hits, first hit, 100% chance to place provoke again. So this one's like your definite provoke. The A1 is your backup, but the A2, if you're talking about waves of enemies in hard Doom Tower, in faction wars, wherever really, having an AoE provoke, also a leech, also a strengthen on himself so that he's not taking as much damage when they go off. It's such good synergy in his kits. So yeah, really liking it. Go on. Sorry.
No, keep it going. Keep it going.
I was just say his A3 as well. It's another AoE. So not many legendaries have got 2 AoEs in their kits. They both hit reasonably hard, not crazy, but reasonably hard. And he gets a bit more damage for each debuff on the enemy on the A3. Healing as well. Shields as well. Like, there's so much going on in his kit in terms of control and support. I just think he's kind of top draw.
Was he a fusion or a fragment summon? Remind me.
I think he was a fusion.
I think he was too, because I didn't go for him. I'm usually lazy on the non-fragment summons, you know. But yeah. So I didn't go for him, and then I pulled him maybe like 6 months after he was already released. To your point, I didn't hear a lot of buzz about him being that great, so I wasn't expecting much. But I completely agree with you, man. I think that this dude is a monster. To your point, Hades, it's almost like they just kept adding stuff to his kit. They're just like, you know what? Let's add a heal. Let's add a shield. Let's increase his damage. Let's give him a passive for damage mitigation. Let's make him be able to land everything on weak hits, man.
Too much.
Really cool champion. Good choice. Good way to lead off the video, man.
Nice. I will say, like, these passives where you get that damage mitigation, they're so good. Like, they're so underrated by themselves. Like, just 15% less damage as soon as you provoke an enemy team. Like, when he's also strengthening himself as well, 25% less damage from those provoked people. It's like, that's just under 40% reduction. It's so massive. So yeah, I love this type of stuff.
I agree too, and I'm glad you said that, because I always say that on the channel. It's just that when I can find anybody who has damage mitigation on a passive, it is like, you look at it as a built-in strengthen, always there, that stacks with strengthen, you know, as long as there's a provoke, obviously. But like, there's a money, and they stack. So if you have multiple champions, obviously with those passives, you're talking like incredible damage mitigation. So great choice there. I kind of alluded to it, Hades, but my choice is going to be Contra the Cyclone. Man, I can't stop loving this champion, dude. She's grown on me so much, especially with Hydra. 2 things. Hydra and Reflex set buff made Contra the Cyclone just one of my favorite champions in the game. She's insane. Her base defense is 1542. She's a tank. She has a 2-time hitter. Each hit with a 60% chance of stealing a random buff, definitely a high percentage on each hit. You love to see it. And then this Chaos Tempest is just obscene.
I love it.
Right? It's like, normally I don't like these Hades, these abilities that like you don't know what you're gonna get out of them. But this one's just built differently. It's a 3-turn cooldown, 75% on a triple hitter AoE attack to land each of the following.
Yeah.
Block
It's just a
bust,
lucky
decrease
dip,
attack. Yeah, I mean, just go through them.
nice.
Weaken, decrease accuracy. Like when you look at these block bust, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy, heal. Everything except for heal reduction is very useful. You know, very good, especially block buffs, right? In Hydra, I should say, but
especially
like,
for Hydra.
everything.
And decrease attack and decrease speed. Like
Everything,
they're 3 are like the big hitters for
the
Hydra,
S
right?
tier
Those 3.
debuffs. Yeah, it's not like they're just like, you know, crap stuff that you're not gonna like. Leeches, not like leeches crap. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some goodies in here. And then the no escape passive is obscene. It's insane. You know, I mentioned the reflex. Reason being is because this is our only active skill. It's a 2-turn cooldown, and now it's a 40% chance. It's been that way for like a year and a half, but still, it's like a 40% chance to reduce this cooldown from 3 to 2 or 2 to 1 every turn. And that just means a billion more debuffs, and that synergizes so well with the passive. Decreases each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff they're under, and she's laying out a billion debuffs. Number 2 is she'll receive 4% less damage for each debuff on the attacker, which again is great, synergizes with her kit. Heals the champion by 1250 HP every time a debuff expires on an enemy. She's healing all over the place, not just her debuffs, every debuff. And then the magic one here is a 75% chance of flat out placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. So she has like this built-in provoke. I
love it.
The number of scenarios where they're under 5 or more debuffs are just astronomical because of that incredible A2. And similar to your boy Bivald of the Thorn, this champion can place debuffs even on weak hits. Whew.
I've got to say, like, this passive, this might be the best passive in the game.
Right?
Like, it's so much going on.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy, this passive. Like, you could take 2 of those, 1 of those even, and give it to some of these champions that don't have a passive at all, and they would be so thankful to get it.
Decrease each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff, and they're under like 10 debuffs sometimes. It's like, and you just keep going. So yeah, man, I love Contra.
I do as well. Actually, for Hydra, I built 2 Contras. Like I've basically got 1 for each team. Basically, that's the way I've done it.
Someone's a Hydra beast when you're building 2 of them. So I don't have 2, but maybe I should.
Not on my watch.
Okay, let's go into the Sacred Order.
Okay.
This is somebody that I put down, honestly. When he first came into the game, whole string, I was like, what's going on with this guy? He had really cool animations, but I'm converted. Like this dude is in some of my proper big boy teams for, you know, end game speedrunning.
Tell us why.
I'm kind of sleeping on this guy, but basically he's got, I guess the main reason he's in the teams now is his A3. Okay, so it's on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks 4 times at random. So you're looking at bosses like Dark Fae, Fire Knight, where you want to kind of focus those 4 hits at random at one place. Yes. Yeah, so you don't want them going at random. But each hit, chance to place Hex for 3 turns. Each hit also a chance to steal. This is booked to 100% turn meter. So he's stealing turn meter from bosses. And when you're looking to try and keep turn meter down on Dark Fae, Fire Knight specifically, this is so strong. It's really strong.
4-time hitter. Yeah.
Really hard. Like it hits very hard. Yeah. And basically he's getting almost like a full turn meter fill at the end of this. His A3, so it's 3 hits at random again. So talk about Fire Knight. You've basically got 2 abilities which absolutely smack through either a shield or when you're actually hitting the dude, you're hitting him hard. This one hits like an absolute freight train. It's just really strong. So ignoring defense, always going to be good, always going to hit hard. Again, he's got some kind of like synergy stuff here for specific factions. I've never really seen this playing out, honestly. I use him as a boss killer, but it's passive as well. So if this champion attacks 2 targets under Hex during the same turn, he'll get himself a perfect veil. So he's kind of like hiding from enemies. And yeah, it just feels like he's such a solid champion to me. Another double hitter on his A1. Yeah, but it's mainly that turn meter fill and turn meter steal, I guess, on the A3, which just makes him so strong.
I have to say it's crazy. I'm glad you picked him, right? Because I've seen a few comments lately about like, dude, he's one of the most underrated guys out there. And to the point of this video, and to your point, he has bad like ratings, and we all know how much ratings mean in game.
They're really bad, actually. I'm just looking now. They are really bad.
He has really bad. He has really bad ratings. But I built him. This is probably right when he came out, man. I built him as I think I titled the video like I built Raid's worst champion because the reviews were so crappy. And to your point, I remember him putting out just insane damage, you know, like for a non-AoE attacker at the end of every battle, be like, whoa, you know, so I need to try him out again. So good flag there. I'm going to go with a newly buffed champion. I'm very curious to see if you've tried the new Vlad. The new Vlad the Nightborn.
Yeah, I did try him on the test server, actually.
Do you like him or do you not like him? What do you think of Vlad?
No, I think he's really strong now. I think he's very solid now, especially if you've also got Constantine. Like, that's a crazy combo. But yeah, it's a really good buff. Really good.
I agree. Listen, it doesn't really fit the meta that well right now because of the arena, you know, stone skin, essentially, right? Yeah. But this A3... boy, did they make it so much better to the extent where you can use him to speed farm your Great Hall. The cool thing about him is he's a debuff. In the arena, he's a control, debuffer, and damage dealer. Again, I'm not talking about platinum end of the season. I'm talking about the majority of players, right? Definitely, he's got the AoE, solid multipliers, 3-turn cooldown, decreased defense, block active skills, perfect veil on himself. You know, I mean, they changed his ability from being crap to really solid, like really solid. Then he's got the AoE leech, very good for PvE, right? The leech will help you heal. He's stealing turn meter or decreasing turn meter if they're not from those factions. So it's a 50% steal or decrease. Yeah. So you can get the extra turns like crazy on the A2. And then, you know, he has that great synergy, as you mentioned, between Constantine. But I really feel like now they took him from being really one of the most underwhelming Void legendaries to now a Void legendary who, I'm not going to say he's one of the best in the game, but he's certainly, for the majority of players, someone who they can get a lot of utility out of in both PvE and PvP, you know?
So where I found he's massively improved or can make a massive difference to someone's account is like really any wave-based content like Faction Wars, Doom Tower waves, like it is crazy when you start to get his block active skills. So they're only coming at you with A1s. Block active steals going alongside this kind of turn meter steal or at least reduction. Your whole team are cycling through abilities. All they can do to you is A1s.
That's it.
It's brilliant, actually. I'm not sure there's many champions that have got block active steals for 2 turns on such a low cooldown.
On a 3-turn cooldown, yeah, because you know there's a few. I know Karato, but I think his is on a 4-turn, you know? Yeah. There's what, Logan or
maybe Lugan, yeah. I'm not sure if his is 3, but yeah, there's definitely not many that can like enable that's that type of control, you know?
That's a 4-2. You're right. So having it on a 3, and to your point, just getting all that turn meter, he's a really good control who can also bring the big version of decreased defense. I think he's a great champion now. Yeah, who you got next, Hades?
Okay, so we're going to go in a bit of an old school, but I still love this champion. So in the orcs here.
Let me guess. An old school orc that Hell Hades loves. I'm going to guess Robar?
Robar would have been a good shout, actually. When I was looking through, I was like, who's he going to say? I bet it's Robar.
I'm thinking
Robar's actually really cool. Robar could be on this list.
Okay, who you got?
I'm going with Iron Brago. Maybe he's not as old school as I was making it sound, but he's been around for a while.
I was just hoping you weren't going to go with Angar, man. I'm a hater.
No way. Angar would be on a different list. We'd be talking about a different type of legendary there.
I always hate on Angar, and I always get a few of the same viewers who are like, dude, you're unfair hating on. He's a good champion, Ash. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, Iron Brago, great choice.
Yeah, so I love this guy. Like, if I pulled this guy on my free-to-play now, he would be a must-build. Like, he's so good, specifically for clan boss. He's crazy. Like, if we kind of take it for granted now that, you know, loads of us have got unkillable teams, and that's easily the best way to go. If you can't get there, if you just haven't pulled any of those unkillable champs, Iron Brago's probably up there as like a top 5 champion to grab. Yeah, so he's able to, on his A2, he just gives you increased defense for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So you've got it up 100% of the time. And for those who kind of perhaps... Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
No worries, man. They're clearly a fan of Iron Brago.
Yeah. They're like, I'm Brago. They're probably talking about anger. No,
they were waiting for it.
Yeah, for those who don't really get what that means, you're looking at only needing to build your champions with like 2,800 odd defense. It's such a difference. So all of a sudden, you can start to build your nukers to actually do some damage. You can start to survive longer into these clan boss battles. He's also just got two really hard hitting abilities. The A1 and the A2 hit really hard. And then if you're not talking about clan boss, you've got an AoE provoke on the A3, also a hard hitter. And I guess something which is quite special about him is his passive. So he's able to just gift people 10% of his defense. He's like, there you go, fellas. There's another 500 defense if you need it.
It's solid.
I just think he's still, I think he's underrated because, his area of expertise is clan boss. And there's so many ways now that people have managed to beat that game mode. But, still for those people, probably most of our viewers that are watching, actually, they need help to get through different content. And I feel like he's just such a solid person to enable you to do that.
I couldn't agree more. I love, he just brings so much to the table, to your point, Hades, the 3-turn increased defense. He's got the stuns. He's got 2 turns if they're under 2 or more buffs. I mean, again, the 2-turn stun isn't like a game changer, but if you're using him, to your point, just to clear content, Doom Tower floors as just an amazing support, I mean, everything synergizes so well. He's locking everybody down. He's placing decreased attack too if he's under increase in defense, which he always is because he's got it on a 3-turn cooldown. It's really incredible stuff. So I think that's a good call out there. I'm going to stay in orcs, man. And I'm going to go a little controversial here. I'm actually going to go a little controversial because this new Void Legendary gets a lot of hate. And it's not Supreme Galek. It's Raka Viletide. All right. So I mentioned in passing on one video that I'm a fan of Raka. And I got a lot of comments like, oh, budget Duchess, she sucks. And I think she's more than that. It's hard not to compare her to Duchess, but let's look at her kit and I'll tell you why I like her. On the A1, heals the ally lowest HP, 10% of the champion's max HP. Sure, nice to have, not a game changer. On the Oozing Blessing, 3-turn cooldown, we get the cleanse, we get the increased attack, and we get the shield based on her HP. So a really good ability, whether it's in, anywhere in the game, it's a good ability, right?
Cleanse actually is actually so nice. It's so massive, yeah.
It's fantastic. It's like, to me, instead of comparing her to, I don't want to get to the end here, but instead of comparing her to Duchess, I kind of compare her as like a combination of Duchess and Pythion. Because she's got the cleanse there, and she's bringing some stuff. She got the shield. She has the revive on a 4-turn cooldown, revives everybody, plays a block debuff on all allies, and she'll bring that block debuff even if there's nobody dead. So she brings block debuffs to the table as well. Ergo, again, the comparisons a little bit to Pythion. And then on the creep, on the passive 2-turn cooldown, at the start of each turn, fills the turn meter of all allies by 10%. Really solid.
Passive. Yeah, I like that.
And then that's the active effect. The passive effect, at the start of each turn, plays a continuous heal buff on the ally with lowest HP for 2 turns. Will not put it on herself, but she's also healing the ally with lowest HP on the A1 by 10% of her max HP. So on that passive, on the passive effect of the passive and the A1, she's bringing some nice heals and support. She's got the shield, she got the block debuff, she got the cleanse, increase attack, and the shield. I think she's a really good champion, speeding all battles by 19%. Is she the best Void epic or a Void champion in the game? No, but I actually like her. I like her a lot, man. I run her on, I'm experimenting right now. I mean, you can use her anywhere in the game, right? She's a great reviver and great cleanser. But I'm using right now, experimenting with her in a bolster set since I need a lot of HP for that shield anyway, and the heal, right? And I put her in bolster, and I use her as a setup to, for my like Nutcracker or whoever I'm running. So I use her in conjunction with the increased attack champion because she's bringing that buff to the table as well. So it's a good cleanse, support, bolster set, reviver. Everything else at the start of the turn meter fills the turn meter of all allies. I can build her a little bit fast, 109 base speed, and even my slower champions, they'll still get that nice turn meter boost just off the active effect anyway. So I like her. I kind of felt like I rambled a bit on Raka.
But look, I think also she looks damn cool, right?
She does look really damn cool. That's most important, right?
I see you. I see you.
I get the problem here is that people compare her to Duchess, right?
Yes.
I get that because when you compare her to Duchess, Duchess, I feel like Duchess's revive is just better because
It is.
she'll only use it if people are dead, yeah? But the thing is, you're then comparing her to the best champion in the game, maybe, or like top 3 champions in the game.
Certainly.
So no, if I pulled her on my free to play, she would easily be my best champion on my free to play by a mile, and she would be a must build straight away. So I get what you're saying for sure. Could if you're just going to compare it to the best champion in the game, well, there's not many people that kind of stand out in that field. So I get what you're saying, man. Good kits. The only thing I don't like is the fact that she would just burn a revive.
Right.
But that's the only thing for me I don't love.
It's their new thing, right? Like there's so many champions that have that ability, that I do find it kind of annoying as well, but I don't know.
But yeah, solid choice. I think it's a solid choice. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay,
Who you got?
Okay, this one, I feel like this might be controversial. People might disagree with this one, but we're going to go with it. So Shadowkin.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Yoshi the drunkard.
Oh, not in this neighborhood. We're big Yoshi fans.
I like it. Okay, good.
I think that's an amazing choice.
I was sleeping on this dude. I actually had Rats, who is a really high level PvP player. He helped me with my PvP teams when I was doing like a bit of a plat push, and he suggested to me, like, I had Yoshi sitting in my vault, wasn't built out, wasn't ascended, nothing. He was just sitting there, and he was like, "This is going to be one of our go second arena champions." And so by go second, we're going to take a load of punishment, and then we're hoping to kill them after that. And I was like, why this guy? So basically, it's all to do with his A3. He's able to give us attack buff. He's able to give us an accuracy buff, whilst also putting True Fear out on enemies. So we've already taken a load of punishment. I'm then buffing the accuracy of someone like a Madame or whoever's going to be dropping the defense of the enemy or stripping their buffs. Whether it's going to be a Kaima, a Madame, someone like that. Also buffing my Nuka, is buffing my support, my Nuka, and if for whatever reason they're going to go again, we've also got this True Fear, which has got a really good chance to just kind of lock down the enemy. It's just such a good A3 setup ability.
It really
for
is.
Team. What's cool with him as well is like if you're even trying to be a go first team, you can get outsped, and then his passive has got a chance to cut back in. So he's actually got this kind of feels determined to every time the enemy receives a buff. So if a team is rocking and rolling and getting all their buffs up, he can actually cut in and again, either try and lock them out then with this True Fear ability, or you can just go in there and be like, you can start to mess people up, either running in with a stun with his A1 or, perhaps just kind of dropping in some decreased accuracy or something on his A2. But really, it's his A3, which I think sets him apart from other champions. I don't think anyone else has got this type of combo going on in the game.
No.
And it's just such a good arena setup.
He really is.
So yeah.
I 100% agree. He is that. This is shame on me for not having him on my list, because I agree with you, man. That is a crazy arena setup. The increased attack and increased accuracy and the True Fear on everybody. I mean, come on. What more do you want, right?
You've got so much baked into one champion there, right? It's just so much going on.
Yeah, and you hit on everything there. The passive is incredible too. I love this, man. And Bomb's not really meta right now, but if Bombs ever do, if Stone, who knows? Like, this is the best setup, bar none, for Bomb champions, right?
True,
Increase attack,
that's a really good shout.
Accuracy. So, yeah, really good pick there. I'm going to go, man, there's so many underrated champions. You want me to go old school or new school? You can choose here on my next one.
Let's go old school for this one.
Okay, I'm going to go old school with my man, Harvest Jack.
Okay, I did not see this one
I'm
coming,
going
right?
Real old school here. Harvest Jack was a Halloween champion a few months after I started playing the game in 2019. And here he is. He's got almost 27k HP, so he's a great candidate for a bolster set. And he is just one of the most annoying champions to go against in the arena. He's a champion that most people see the pumpkin head. They're like, who's this schlub? Like, what, this old champion? But he really is cool. And I didn't notice till recently that he has all the starting champions' heads on his necklace. I mean, he's got to get bonus points for that. So,
before they became supreme, that's the trouble.
Yeah. Sorry, technical difficulties there. We're back. So on the A1, triple hitter, 35% chance of stealing a random buff. Each also has a 35% chance of placing a fear. Increases to 100% if all buffs are stolen from the target. Nice little A1. On the A2, Dreams to Ash. Maybe, I don't know, Hades, maybe I'm just biased on this champion, but it's a good name.
Dreams to Ash.
Attacks all enemies. We can place a block bust for 2 turns on targets under fear. We're removing increased attack, placing a decreased attack, removing continuous heal, placing a poison. Number of poisons, equal to the number of continuous heals removed. You know, nice for like an anti-wither or whatever in the arena, but it's not, you know, the highlight of his kit. I think Lord of Terror, the A3, is such a fun ability. Attacks all enemies. 100% chance of placing a True Fear debuff for 1 turn. Also places a decreased speed for 2 turns. And decreases each target's turn meter by 15% if the True Fear debuff is placed. Also has a 100% chance of placing a sleep for 1 turn if the True Fear debuff is not placed. This can be a really fun opening move in the arena or really anywhere else. It's a fun like control champion, and when attacked, decrease the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. In this super buff heavy meta right now, basically not just the arena, just like everywhere, that leering grin, like, I don't know about you, but if you ever run Harvest Jack, I feel like it's just spamming leering grin on when the passive triggers all the time on the decreased duration of all buffs. Again, Harvest Jack, I was so late to the party on this dude in terms of building him. I didn't build him forever, but that base HP makes him a perfect candidate for like a control bolster set in the arena. Is he an S tier arena champion or champion in the game right now? No, but for an OG, old school champion, I still have a lot of fun with him. What do you think about Harvest Jack?
Yeah, interesting. So I used to use him back in the day.
Yeah.
When I used to try and do like really tanky, high resistance type of teams. And I'd be throwing him in like a shield set or something because he's just got a naturally really high HP. And like you say, he's so annoying. He was such an annoying champion. You feel like lost the fight, and all of a sudden, his kit starts to kick in, and it turns a fight or can turn a fight. Honestly, I've not used him in so long. I'll be honest, I've not used him in so long.
Throw him in a bolster.
As you read through his kit, I'm like, damn, it's got loads going on.
Yeah, throw him in a bolster set too, and just use him as like on a lot of arena teams, you just kind of have that one slot that you're like, okay, what do I want to put in here? You know, like I have some flexibility. He's a really fun, you know, bolster on a go second or just build him high accuracy for no damage.
Yeah, I get it.
You're just messing with the enemy team constantly, you know, so a really fun champion.
Interesting.
Who's your last champion, Hades?
Okay, so again, I don't know if he's strictly, in fact, we're staying in the same faction. I don't know if he's strictly underrated anymore, but I feel like he is. So, Crypt King Graal.
Okay.
Now, this dude is actually insane since he had his buff. And, you know, I see some creators, they do some stuff with him, but basically, he has just got so much going on for, like, the current end game of dungeons type of stuff or Doomtown type of stuff. Like, basically, he's got, so his A1's got a decreased attack, which is okay. 60% chance to place decreased attack. 100% if there's a burn or a freeze out there. That's quite a nice kind of. There's not that many champions with an A1 100% chance to land a decreased attack. He's then got an A2 100% chance to place HP burn. HP burn's pretty much where it's at for doing high level damage to you know, late game stuff. Yeah, so
unless you're Spider Hard.
Well, yeah, but even then, it's actually still pretty serious. Like Spider Hard's all right. You heal for a third of it, but it's still probably. When they fix the bug, I think HP that's what we're going to go back to, you know? You're right. Yeah. But it's solid. But then when you pair it with his A3, so another AoE ability places a freeze, and freeze for 1 turn and HP debuff for 3 turns if they've already got a burn. And the burn cannot be resisted. So he's basically just doing it all himself. He's like, if you want me to do the damage, I'll do it. You want me to do the control, I'm bringing it. And by the way, I'm going to make sure the boss hits us for less. You know, it's pretty solid.
I got to be honest, man. I have him and I haven't built him, but I've been meaning to for a while. So do you use him right now on any of your main teams? Or is it just kind of like, in theory, you could?
So I could. I use a different burner instead. So the Spider 25.
Yep.
I've seen, I think it's Taraku. Basically does him as like a solo type of build. And it's kind of nuts. Like, you definitely could do that.
It just depends on who you have.
I've got another million champions that do similar type of stuff, but in terms of what he can do and what he does,
you're right.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
He seems like a
stuff.
spider god, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool. Okay, last up, I have 2 champs, man. I couldn't decide between the 2 of them. One of them, I think that everybody would hate me. He's that sucky of a champion if I mentioned him. And the other
Right.
one is just like, I feel like an average champion who I love. What one do you want?
It's not going to be Fortis, is it?
No, worse.
Worse. Let's go with the sucky champion.
Now I'm just going to do that dumb thing and tell you who the other guy was anyway. Shout out
Yeah,
to
do it,
Archbishop Helmet, Pinthroy rather.
He was on like my shortlist actually, Archbishop. I like him.
I love him, but he's really good, right? But I want to go controversial here. I just put out a video on him that hasn't gone live at the time of this recording, but I can only imagine. But they're buffing Allele, and or they're fixing him. And I have a soft spot for Allele, and I know there's a lot of bad vibes around this champion, first of all, right? Because he was the 110 Void Shard guaranteed champion. Everybody got this dude with 1630 base attack, and they're thinking, okay, I've got the Nuclear of the Century, I've got Nutcracker version 2, and I'm done, game over. And then he doesn't do any damage. You know, like, but I still think, call me crazy.
But the stupid thing is, like, before any fixes, that's when they put him out for 110 voids. You're like, guys,
I know.
Fix him first.
So I want to temporarily have a little bit of short-term amnesia and forget about all that and just look at his kit for what he is, and holy moly. So, okay, on the A1, he's stealing all buffs from the target the first time he hits them, and it can't be resisted. And that includes Stone Skin. He just steals everything, you know? Flat up, can't be resisted. Each subsequent time he attacks an enemy, no buffs will be stolen. Instead, the damage will be increased for each buff on the target. Hard hitting A1. Okay, cool. But he doesn't hit hard.
Do you know, by the way, just as you're saying that, because I thought this guy nearly went onto my list. Do you know if it will still Stone Skin 100% of the time, or is it still 50-50?
I ran him in maybe a dozen arena battles, and every time I did it, he stole it.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting, because the A1's crazy. The A1 is crazy, like so good.
Because there's other abilities that steal skills, and they don't steal Stone Skin in this game, you know? But this one does. So I don't know how they do that. I have no idea, but if someone smarter than me can tell me why, but it was pretty crazy. So like against like Ultimate Death, any Ultimate Death Knight team is just like, take it, you know? And then he's got the Stone Skin. All right, his A2 ability, this is what they're fixing. Did you see the patch notes on this? Or whatever?
I did, yeah. So hopefully it's going to be brilliant.
Hopefully, they even quoted Jirgid the Breaker. They said about Nutcracker, they're like, it's going to work like his skill now. So, I mean, they're getting our hopes up there, because that's insane. But basically, it's broken. It's not fully ignoring Stone Skin on this ability right now, so it's really underwhelming. But in theory, it's a 5 multiplier, a single target attack that ignores Strengthen, increased defense, ally protection, and Stone Skin. And then if the attack fully kills an enemy, it fully heals him and places a Stone Skin on him.
Yeah, it's actually very cool.
And then
like, on paper, it was brilliant, right? It was just like, it's not working.
You need to kill him. You need to do some hits. You do some damage, man. If you don't do any damage, then his kit goes from being like one of the coolest in the entire game to like, okay, whatever. So I'm hopeful when they fix that, it will be pretty cool. But this A3, dude, it's insane, man. I mean, like, attacks all enemies before attacking. The only thing stopping him is polymorph, right? Like, that's the only downside. But before attacking, it removes increased defense, puts a decreased defense. It removes strengthen, puts a weaken. It places a block buffs for 1 turn on enemies not under increased defense or strengthen. All of the removal in all of the placement can't be resisted. That's just nasty. You know, you're taking the 2 strongest buffs and it's unresistible, you know?
Yeah, that's the best thing about his kit. It's like, he doesn't need accuracy for any of it, but he's doing so much. Like, as I said, on paper, when this guy first came out, before I'd even seen him played, I was like, this is the best champion in the game for Arena. Like, it's so crazy, especially for the meta right now.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't really work out how to get this kind of Stone Skin interaction going. So when he's fixed, I might be kind of ruin that time where I decided not to pull 110 voids, honestly. It looks so cool.
You're never going to ruin that decision, man. But then the Force of Nature is really cool too, man. Like, increases his champion's HP by 2,000 and defense by 100 for every 1,000 attack they have. So you're getting, I mean, his attack skill so well is 1630 base, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're getting easily over 10,000 extra HP. You're getting, you know, easily 500 extra defense. I mean, probably
sure.
even more, you know. And then
Plus
Phil's
some, yeah.
And then the best, and then it keeps getting better, right? Because Phil's is champion is turn meter by 10% whenever they receive a buff. So as a go second champion, you can build him super slow, maximize his attack, get a bunch of extra HP, a bunch of extra defense, and you don't even need to rely on his speed. He's just gonna get the turn meter fills from the enemies buffing, you know? Or excuse me, from him buffing.
From the buffs coming through,
From the buffs. So like if you set him up with like a Necret the Great or something, like if you're lucky enough to have 2 incredibly hard to get Void legendaries, but if you set him up with like a bolster set and a Necret, he's already almost half turn meter, you know, before anything happens, you know? So anyway, I think that, you know, hopefully that A2 fix actually works. I'm not sure if they put it in at this point, because I'm not sure if the wording has changed on this.
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I think it's the next patch. I got to say as well, like this might be my favorite skin in the game. Like the arms are so cool. Like the detail in the arms are so good.
It's
I love
incredible,
it, actually.
man. It's incredible. It's got the antlers. I don't know. Very cool. I agree. Very cool looking champion. So there you have it, guys. Those are our 10 most underrated legendaries in the game. Let us know who you agree with, who you disagree with. Who is your most underrated legendary champion in the game? Let us know. And also check out the video on Hades' channel as well, where we talk about epic champions in the same conversation. Hades, it's always such a pleasure talking Raid with you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on again, man. It's always been fun. Like, it's always cool as well, just to like rethink of some champions, which you know, almost gone out of my head. So yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Really cool.
My pleasure, man. Guys, thank you for watching all the way till the end. And as always, take care, guys.